I hear this expression quite often from vacationers, especially those visiting from large, busy cities. Usually after one of my tours in the national park, if they tell me that they're leaving for home the next day, they'll say something like, "Yeah, we have to get back home, we have to get back to reality." Maybe you and I say the same thing after a motorcycle trip. Got to get back to work, back to my desk. I have to make all those sales quotas. Got to write the new software patches. Got to get back to my classes at college. After this vacation, I've got to get back to reality. But maybe we've got it all wrong. Maybe we've got it backward. Maybe that escape, that ride on our motorcycle after work, maybe that returns us to reality. Pure bliss is in our grasp, my friends. And along with that, the all-elusive but attainable peace of mind. Hey, this could go deep today. Thank you for joining me. Stay tuned. Recorded in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. Welcome to Peace, Love, Moto, the podcast for motorcyclists seeking that peaceful, easy feeling as we cruise through this life together. Are you ready? Let's go! Is our busy schedule at work, the pressures of endless meetings and computer work, not to mention our busy life at home that we try to keep normal, but with the constant updates from 24-hour news cycles, with the latest political scandals, the mass shootings, floods, dreadful economic outlook, or lest we forget our phones, with the second-by-second social media updates on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that kidnaps our attention into hours and hours of scrolling for the next shocking thing that someone has to show us. Is that the reality we have to return to when our vacation ends? Or perhaps do we just have it backward? Perhaps how we feel when we're on vacation. That's our true reality. Would you agree that so many people have this idea of escaping reality all wrong? They've got it right the opposite. As for you and me, isn't it a real world? Isn't it the reality that we find when we're out on our motorcycle and just having such a great time? Spending time outside, riding our bikes that we're so proud of? Isn't it a true reality when we enjoy the sound of the bike, feeling the air temperatures change as we go from valley to valley, taking in the amazing view of a bald eagle up in the tree as we ride by the lake that he's keeping an eye on? Is reality how our delicious hot coffee tastes in the morning chill of the clean, pure mountain air at the little outdoor coffee stand? Which reality is your reality? I think we have this concept of escaping. Yeah, all wrong. The reality is not that the world is a constant traffic jam. It's not all paved over. The world where we live has huge open spaces, beautiful mountains with snow that stays on top even in the summertime. The world is full of friendly people in small towns who are excited to welcome us when we ride up. I'm not making this up. I've seen it. This past Wednesday, I witnessed the most dangerous driver on the freeway that I had ever seen. I was driving a car in North Dallas, one of my frequent trips from Colorado for work. Anyway, it was about 7 in the morning on Highway 121, and I heard the honking and saw the flashing of high beam lights in my rearview mirror. The honking and flashing was from another car warning the drivers ahead about this oncoming danger. The traffic was flowing at about 70 miles an hour, I believe. The driver of that car was doing at least 100, if not more. The car sped past me on my left, slamming on the brakes, coming up on other cars, then weaving within inches of the cars ahead. The car took the next exit and still looked like they were doing 100 miles an hour. Insane. I must admit the first reaction I had was not a good one. I hoped for the worst for that driver. An unhinged thought. But then I took a breath and I came back to my senses, thinking more like a human being. And I wondered what has happened to that driver to cause him or her to drive like that. It must be something terrible. And look at me. I'm driving a nice car, sipping a really good cup of coffee, listening to a symphony on the radio. I have friends and family in the Dallas area whom I get to visit with just about every week. I have a good job and work with people whom I admire and care very much about. What could happen in my own life to cause me to drive like that? It would have to be something emotionally just terrible. That happened this past week, but also this past week I had a long conversation with my mom and dad, both in their 90s, and how they grew up in the 1930s and 1940s. Their childhood, what a different world they lived in. Global events were happening then too, little things like World War II, for example, and political upheaval. But it wasn't the constant topic of conversation because there was no TV in the home. Other than the radio, there wasn't a lot of news going around. More attention, I think, was paid to baseball games that were broadcast over the radio. Without TV, what did they do in the evenings after work in the fields? They had dinner together, and they talked about their day. Or maybe had friends over to play games or even sing together. Then at night, the sky full of stars. See, there was no light pollution, and it was quiet too. No noise of cars and very few planes. Pure, maybe pure reality. I share all of this because it's my personal mission to slow down, to stop being so distracted, to slow down on looking at social media, to spend more time just relaxing. And for me, one of the most relaxing things I've ever done in my life is to ride my motorcycle. Not scrolling on my phone, not staring at the computer, just looking ahead, and braking and accelerating and changing gears from time to time, and knowing that at least for what's in front of me right now, all is right with the world. It's nice to spend time in reality. I hope you can find yours too. As always, thank you so much for listening. I wish you peace, and I wish you love.